Well, maybe working, maybe not. But me and my faithful Honda are going to take one last ride together. And it'll be right here in my kitchen. Isn't that something? No distance at all, and yet all the distance that there is. This is very funny. It says my connection is unstable. That is rather humorous. It's going to be real unstable soon. Very unstable. At least I got a real cigarette with no friggin' filter on it. That's good. So I'm not smoking air. I think I got all the door jams clogged up with towels pretty good. You would think in a country that's ass deep in guns and me with money in the bank to get my hands on one. And the answer is because of my current crippled condition where I can hardly even move in my house. I haven't done any housework in months. I can't. I'm not physically capable of doing it. I can't stand up for any long time. I can barely walk. And when I say barely, I mean just limping more than anything else. I hope the woman I love doesn't take this badly. Despite the fact that we haven't seen each other since 1995. I don't want her to be unhappy. But I have to escape. I have to. I can't get any treatment for it. I live out here in hillbilly country. Everything is on Medicare, Medicaid, and they just want to throw pills at it. And I stopped in a clinic, the Hardin County General Hospital, I don't know, about 6 weeks ago, somewhere in there, and asked one of the physicians that was helping me, this guy Chato, give me a refill on the pain medication. He wouldn't do it. He said I had to go see my regular doctor. That'd be a good trick if I had a regular doctor, which I don't have. I've never been sick before. I was as strong as a D9 Caterpillar tractor. Never been sick. And now I am. It's permanent sick. My foot has been swollen and inflamed for 6 months. And it just gets worse and worse and worse. And the pain is incredible. I don't understand. Nothing can touch it. The only thing that allows me to sleep at all is I can get in a recliner chair that I got from the Arena Center. Very comfortable. Because I can't lay down in bed. I just can't do it. My foot throbs so bad. I can't handle it. I can't stand it. I'm hoping this is going to work. I have no idea how long it will take for the atmospheric concentration of carbon monoxide to come up high enough to knock me out. I think I've got it pretty well sealed in here. Oh, hold on a second. I see something. I got a, ah, 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 I got a vent here on the floor. I got to cover. Give this pillow with my foot. I don't think the pillow's scattered all over the place. I have to. There we go. Okay, that's covered over. Don't want it sneaking out on me in large quantities. Let me fix this other pillow here so I can rest my bad foot on it. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, I went to see him. Regular doctor, he refused to write me a prescription for any pain medication of any kind. Nothing. Nothing. Nothinng. Nothing. That's what I got. Nothing. Why? Just renew it. Or I have to see my regular doctor. I don't have a regular doctor. Or I have to get one. Yeah, but I can't move. I can't get out of my house. I'm depending on neighbors. The guy next door gives me rides, or I couldn't get to the hospital without an ambulance. And there's no way in hell I'd call an ambulance because for transport, that'd be $2,000 or $3,000 every time it rolls with me on it. How would I get home? And why go to the hospital? They didn't fix it. I had blood clots removed from my right leg and stents installed. And guess what? They were successful. Guess what else? The clots came right back. I think there's more of them. In fact, I'm certain there's more of them. What I can't understand is I could not get the swelling to go down no matter what I did to my foot. I can't do it. I tried various methods of heat, massage, compression, and the drawback being is I can't bear to touch that foot. It won't let me touch it. It hurts so bad, I can't do anything with it. It looks like my foot's starting to look like a dead baby dolphin with little toes sticking out in front. And the toes are not looking healthy at all. Trust me. Or, let's see here. I don't know if you can see any of this. If I can get it over to where you can see it. See here? Here's the main culprit right here. I don't know if you can see it. I can't do very much in terms of contortion of moving around. I don't know why it's not coming up on camera. Now I can't see. I'm tilting over and I can't see if it's showing anything. Let me see if I can get over a little further. Just pivot toward the camera. Yeah. Looks big, doesn't it? You can't see it. I can't hold it steady. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it so you can see. There. You getting the view? What you can't see is the black spot on my big toe. Oh, God, that hurts. Please. I'm sorry how things. What I wanted to say more than anything else is, I'm sorry how things went between me and Kelly, the woman I love. I'm sorry. I made a mess out of everything. I quit my job on a 2-week notice and walked away back in '95, and I never saw her again. And my heart cries and cries all the time over that. Man, this has taken a long time. A really long time. I don't know why. I don't know what the atmospheric concentration has to be before carbon monoxide supplants molecules of O2. Your body bloodstream takes it in because it can't tell the difference. It doesn't know anything's wrong. And I've had enough. I've had enough. I refuse to exist for another 10 or 15 years in a nursing home or have a stroke and be unable to do anything. That's not right. Scooter will run for at least, got a full tank of fuel. They should run for at least several hours before it finally runs out and idle. Hopefully this will work. When was that? Yeah. Oh yeah. Firearm. I can't get one. I couldn't even order one online, put together myself. Couldn't do it. Here we go. Unstable. Yeah, you could say I'm unstable right now. Yeah. Try reconnecting. How in the hell do you propose I reconnect? I don't know. There we go. Now it says everything's fine. I don't know what the hell goes on with this computer. I got Windows 8.1, and they don't want to. Microsoft doesn't want to support that anymore. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. It's a good thing I got some smokes to see. You know, it does calm my nerves down a little. Alcohol, that kind, yeah. This, yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. That's the stuff right there. Yeah, that and aspirin. That's what I have. I can't get my hands on any painkillers of any kind. I took Eliquis for a couple of months, and it made me sick as a circus monkey on crack. My ears felt like they were full of Rice Krispies. My eyes were doing funny tricks, like high-speed window blinds. This was not fun. I don't have the best vision anymore at almost 69, but I never had any problem seeing anything or focusing. And the Eliquis did nothing. That's the primary cause. What I needed to have happen was to have the swelling go down in my right foot, and it didn't touch it. The blockage is so profound in there, I don't know what can be done. Bleed it out somehow. Use leeches. Maybe that would work. Something to get all that congested blood out of there to get it back cycling the way it should. You understand? Oh, extremely hard for me to get comfortable. Very, very hard. It hurts right now on my thigh because of the clot in my thigh. There's one in there too. It's pushing it up against the femur, up against the bone, and restricting it even further. I can't sit in anything but that great big lounge chair. Looking rather frizzy with a beard here. Yeah, I can't shave. You know, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm right-handed. Look at my left hand. Look at it. I can't hold it steady at all. It shakes constantly. Unless I'm gripping tight like this, that slows it down. But if I extend the fingers flat out like this, look at this. It won't stop. I don't want to live like this. Who wants to live like this at any price? And the pain never stops. I can't get anything for the pain. I just can't. The one thing that did have an effect was a drug called Lovenox, a liquid, very potent, injectable. I got some of that, and the swelling that I had in my calf was gone within 8 hours, months back. Not lately. There's no point in going to the hospital because they're going to give me anything at Hardin County General Hospital. They're not interested. Get to them. I can't. I have no way to get there. I don't have sufficient money on Social Security to just wander around. I don't have a car. My little and it served me faithfully for 6 years. That's the best vehicle I've ever in performance. And then you hit the starter, it's there. Turn the key on, hit the starter, it fires up instantly. No problems. That's about as good as life gets with an internal combustion engine vehicle. Considering how small it is, it's actually rather complex. It's very sophisticated. It runs very well, though. Never have any problems with it, ever. You see, I've been running about, since 1533 on here. It's been on for about maybe 17, 18 minutes. I don't know how long it takes. and just let it run. The thing I'm afraid of is winding up in a nursing home. I'm afraid of having a stroke and being completely crippled and unable to speak. And I can't move. I can't get out of the bed anymore. I don't want to spend years like that in some hillbilly nursing home full of people with their advanced sixth grade educations taking care of me. I'm not going for that. No. Give me a sponge bath once in a while. Make sure my ass is clean. Change my diaper. No, no, thank you. No. I went past diaper stage time ago. I don't want to go back to it. I got such a kick out of that, though, that statement. Well, you need to see your regular doctor. I don't have a fucking regular doctor. Where would I get one? Why would I even have one? You think I have people on retainer? I look like a friggin' movie star? I got that kind of money. I've got doctors on call any time of night or day for whatever I need, whenever I need it. No, I don't have that. I got access to internet. I've got access to look things up. The one thing that they don't have is recommendations to fix it now. Now. I need relief from this suffering now. I want something that's going to work in 48 hours. I'm improving. I'm not improving at all. It just keeps getting worse. Have the foot amputated? That won't solve anything. I'll still be a cripple. And you can still feel phantom pain from something that's gone. Oh, yeah. It can't kill the nerve. You kill the older nerve running down your leg, you're not going to be able to do anything with that leg anymore, ever. It'll be like overcooked ramen noodles. All the musculature in there will go slack instantly and stay that way for however long you live. It will never come back. Oh, beep, 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 beep. It's starting to work. I don't know what the hell one is beeping in here. Oh, yeah, it's the one plugged into the wall. Hey, we're getting there. It's starting to pick it up. Let me go unplug this thing. I don't want to listen to that. Hey, what do you know? That thing works. That CO alarm on the wall. It works. It took it a few minutes, but it worked. And that's been plugged in there for years and years. That's been on there since about 2004 when the house got remodeled. Got it remodeled under a grant from Shawnee Development. And man, I'll tell you, they upgraded this house into a modern house, considering it dates from the 19th, 20th, and now the 21st century. That's pretty good. All double pane windows, all new copper plumbing, all new water main right out to the street. Just bale after bale of boric acid impregnated cellulose insulation. And man, this stuff works. It won't rot, it won't smell. Insects like roaches can't stand it because they get on that boric acid and they clean their antennae. It gets in their mouth and it's like eating ground glass for them. It chews them up inside. And it won't burn. You can hold a blowtorch right to this stuff. It'll burn right where the flame is, but the flame doesn't propagate. It doesn't keep going. It just leaves a burn mark and that's it. It won't do any more than that. It's funny, how long did that take? Like 22, 23 minutes before it set that alarm off? Now, when they got a good exhaust on that Honda, that's a good exhaust. The catalytic converter that's in the exhaust, and that thing is heavy too. That weighs a good 30 pounds just by itself. Very heavy duty. I'm not sure what the catalyst is on the inside of it, but it does a good job. And as you may or may not be able to hear, it runs very quiet, just the way I like it. I don't like loud vehicles. There's no point to it. It doesn't impress me, and I'm not interested in impressing anybody else. To what end? Now, that doesn't make any sense. I got the Kahlua, and I got some Pepsi for chaser in my thermos bottle. I like pouring a can of Pepsi in here. It stays cold. My mouth looks funny because all my teeth are gone. I started losing my teeth when I was in my early 20s, and the decay just never stopped. Never. I remember Mommy Dearest, boy, there's a story for you, telling me that when I was a baby, I was allergic to just about everything. And they had to feed me soy milk. It was the only thing I could tolerate. I'd break out in a rash over anything else. Couldn't give me anything. And I sure made up for it in future life because I do like to eat. It's one of the few physical pleasures I have in life, is to be able to eat. I haven't been with a woman in so many years, I don't even remember what it's like anymore. I remember it's good if you're with someone you care for, but sex is not that good. I mean, it feels okay, but unless you're with someone you love that loves you, it just doesn't mean anything. You understand what I mean? You don't get anything out of it really. It's the same thing. You might as well be masturbating and having a fantasy running in your head. This doesn't mean anything. If a woman doesn't want you to, it doesn't mean anything. In here and in here. Oh, this one's for Kelly. My chest, my heart. It's yours, always. If you only knew how much I missed you over the years, a whole lifetime. I've loved you for half my lifetime, 33 years. Since the first time I looked in your eyes, I was gone that moment. And she had a son who then would have been 8 years old. She already had a boy. She had everything that I never had. Everything. The things I always wanted and never have had myself. Courage, honor. I don't have any. I'm not. Now the other one's doing it up on the wall. Up above my bedroom. Hold on here. Pull a battery out of it. Okay, reset or something. This thing here has been up there for just about that length of time, 2004, and it still works, and it's unplugged. I don't know. Does it have a backup battery in it? If it does, I don't know how the battery could still possibly work. Yeah, let me put a towel under this thing so I can't hear it. There, that's better. You can't imagine the pain that it causes me to get up and walk even a few steps. My foot feels like it wants to explode, like it's burning inside, like a slow burn, like hot coals. I'm sure I still feel it even in my sleep. But if I can tamp the nerves down a little bit, I can sleep for 3 or 4 hours at a time in my chair. Can't sleep in my bed. I can't handle it. My foot won't let me do it. Tapping my leg won't let me do it. Man, this has taken a long time. I don't even feel drowsy or anything. It's got 26 minutes, 38 seconds on the clock. Those alarms actually worked. They're worth having. And that little engine runs so efficiently, I don't really smell anything. I'm getting a faint whiff of exhaust, the normal that you would get, but it's very faint. And my nose is still pretty good. My nose is good, and my taste buds are still good. No problem. My hair, not so good. That's gone. Fortunately, I never had to worry about that. I was always a dumpy looking guy. Nothing remarkable at all. Got the man boobs, all that. Average package down below that no woman wanted. I that's my one regret in life that eats me alive every day. That's the biggest thing. It's not money or fame or any of that, or social recognition or being a star or any of that. No. What I really regret is the time I didn't spend with her, the life we could have had together. It would have been a good life for the two of us. And a son I could have helped her raise. You know, that's what hurts when you get old. You think about, I never had a little boy or a little girl reach up to take my hand across the street. I never got to watch a little boy or little girl go to school by themselves for the first time, or get their first store-bought haircut, or ride a bicycle with the training wheels off of it for the first time. Man, that hurts not to have those memories. It's funny what hurts when you get older, other than just physical ailments. I was never really in any physical pain at all until this started up. This thing down here with my foot and my leg, especially the foot. I go out and do a full day work. I could work most 18-year-olds right into the ground. I've been mowing for my neighbor next door for a couple of years, supplement my income a little bit, and it's 100 degrees with over 90% humidity, and I'm still out there working. Plus, I got to take care of my yard, and I was happy to do it. It's a rare privilege. I probably lived a better life than 99% of all the people that have ever lived, by far. I got a nice house. I did have a nice yard. I haven't been able to take care of it in the last 6 months, so it's getting kind of squirrely. I can't trim the bushes out front or anything, and they just went ape with all this heat and humidity the past summer. I couldn't trim them. I can't take care of it. At this point, I'll never be able to take care of it. I don't have the strength of the stamina. I can't stand the pain. I just can't. I can't work through the pain. It's not one of those things you can work through. I can't work through it. I don't have the strength for it. This is weird. This is over 30 minutes now. I would have thought I'd start going out by now. Getting tired. Hasn't happened. But I'm big. So you got to take that into consideration. The bigger you are, the longer it takes something to work, as a rule. What might be a big gulp of water to you is just a sip for me. What might be a major injury to you is a minor annoyance to me. Slap a Band-Aid on it and call it good. I like my house. It's a nice house, a good house. I like the yard. Nice yard, nice big backyard. Plenty of room for kids and dogs to just run around going crazy, playing chase and hide and seek around the sheds. I got 2 sheds. Can you believe that? That, yeah. Try reconnecting. I thought I was connected. How am I not connected? Is more to the point. That's one of the things I wonder about is what life has in store for us. A lot of times, it's been what 40, almost 43 years since Lennon was murdered, and I'm thinking, I've always thought to myself, how come he's gone and I'm still here? I have nothing to offer. I don't contribute much of anything. I would like to, but I never had the opportunity to. And this guy, all he's got to do is sit down and write something in a matter of minutes, and it's a hit. People like it. You can't make people like something if they don't like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. That's one of the big deals with show business that nobody ever thinks of. If they don't like you, you're out. If an audience doesn't like you, you're done. You know, how could Lennon be gone and I'm still here? Just think of all that music he could have done in this length of time. You know, the other 3, he would have called them up and they'd got in the studio and recorded some new material. I mean, after all, he had Free as a Bird and stuff like that. You know, he intended that to go with the guys, with his mates. You know that. Of course, sure, you can do it solo, but it's better if it was all 4 of them. He knew that. People say, I saw some interviews and it's like, no. That's done. I don't want to do that anymore. And then a couple, 3 years, 4 years later, he was like, well, sure, if we could all get together in a studio, we could record. In other words, he's opening the door. He's letting you know, yeah, why wouldn't I want to play with him? We're all friends. We're mates. We've been through it all together. Like he said, the thing that Paul and I have is a little more complicated because we were songwriters together. But other than that, there's the only reason we can't ever play live because we owe the government in Britain more in taxes. We sold them $1 million worth of records. We owe $1.5 million in taxes performing as the Beatles. We can't do it. That's an oddball topic to get off on. Very odd. But it's funny how your mind rambles and thinks about things that you don't have anything to do with personally. Like Lennon being murdered, it's like, why him? He has so much left to give everybody. So many songs. We need those things. Would the world be the same without a Mozart or a Beethoven in it? I don't think so. It'd still be the world, and we'd still be us. That still be us. I hear an alarm going somewhere in the distance, so I've got leakage going somewhere, which is funny because I got towels under all the doors, door jams, and the doors fit very well. I hear something beeping somewhere. I'm too tired to get up and do it. It hurts my foot to move at all. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this right now is I can't move. And if I were in a wheelchair, guess what? My foot would still hurt. So it doesn't make any difference, you see? It doesn't make any difference in trying to adapt my mobility issues. My mobility issue is my goddamn foot hurts bad. Sometimes it's insanely bad, but it always hurts. Now my leg has gotten involved in the last couple of months. You know, I really seriously believe, well, this will clear up. It's bound to clear up now that he's got those blood clots out of there and got stents put in. They'll clear up and circulation's going to improve. Guess what? My foot never went down one iota in swelling at all or pain. In fact, the pain's worse now than it ever was. How's that for a kick in the pants? Oh, he resolved the issue. The doctor performed it. What's his name? Casillas. Yeah. Excellent job. That's all this guy does is rhinoplasty. So he's an expert at it. He knows what the hell he's doing. He told me before he started, listen, that clot's been there for a while. It's liable to be like hot asphalt. I may not be able to get them out. I'll just tell you that right up front. Right now it's 50-50. Operation was done. Saw him again the next day when I was in my room, hospital, and he told me, guess what? It worked 100% successful. I got it all out. It's clear and clean. 6 weeks later, I got blood clots in my right leg again. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about it. Stay on blood thinner. I was taking the blood thinner and the clots came back. I was taking Eliquis. And the friggin' clots came back. To nuke something in the microwave, have some dinner, because I can't have the stove and cook, or my electric much pain. I can unwrap something from out of the freezer and put it in the microwave, and that's what I can do. I got a plate that I had some microwave pizza on, sit in the living room because I can use my cane and hold the plate with my other hand to bring it back into the kitchen because my hand was shaking too much. That's no way to live like that. It just isn't. I'm sorry, I'm not Stephen Hawking. I can't tolerate that. Which, when I think about it, is another funny subject. Stephen Hawking got laid more than me. Hitler got laid more than me. Can you believe that? I mean, I was never good looking, but I wasn't ugly. I don't have any bad smells. Nobody's ever told me that. In fact, I was always a very clean person. I never liked being dirty. Don't enjoy it. I don't like being hot and sweaty. I do it all the time, or I did, but it doesn't mean I like it. I just don't. Here we are on a minute, coming up on 40. Very quick here. 40, 56, 57, 58, 59, 40. Here we go. And I'm still here and still talking, still conscious. Isn't that odd? I wouldn't have thought it'd take this long. But not being an expert on the topic, I can't really say. When I worked as an underground miner, we used to have what was called a Draeger rebreather. We used to mine fulminate in Death Valley, California, working for American Borate Company, the same company that used to make borax, and they still do. 20 Mule Team, it was called, company, because that's how many mules you needed to haul borate, which is like a powdery substance. And I got to get readjusted on my chair here. But anyway, that Draeger rebreather would allow you to breathe during a fire when the oxygen is being burned out of the atmosphere around you. It didn't have its own oxygen. It just blocked carbon monoxide. It had special material in it and a cartridge to soak it up so you wouldn't breathe that in. Because you still got plenty of oxygen even during a fire. It's all the other crap that's in the air that's going to kill you. It's funny, you read every winter about people, I don't know, Chicago, Detroit, Pittsburgh, this place and that place. People go to sleep and they're running like a barbecue grill with charcoal in it for heat for the house because their gas has been shut off, stuff like that. And they find them and they're all in their beds, but they're not just asleep anymore, they're permanently asleep. You would think in a new house or newly reconstructed house like this, I wouldn't be having any problems. The windows are exceptionally tight. They've been up there for, what, 17, 18 years now, and they still look perfect. And they work perfect, easy to clean. Because you can undo the hinge and pull them inside to clean the outside glass without having to go outside to do it. Now that's good engineering. And like I said, they're double pane. The heat and cold doesn't go through them. You just don't feel it. There's no heat radiating off the glass. You don't feel it. A little swig. I'm thirsty. And some of that Red Baron microwave pizza, the small ones, not the large ones. They're okay, but they're just not that good. Not like a regular pizza. I would have liked to have a really nice pizza for a last meal. I don't seem to have much appetite because my foot hurts so much. And just you kind of lose your appetite when you're hurting a lot. Let me try and take this. I got a slipper on and no sock. Just a house slipper. I slipped it off. Just that little bit of friction against my skin hurt. Just that. That's all it takes. It's like an instant Saturn V booster to the moon, which they don't use anymore. But since I'm old, that's my reference point. Saturn V, the moon launch rocket. The funny thing is, I haven't really changed substantially in all these years, but everything else around me did. Society now scares the shit out of me. American society. It's like the lunatics are running the asylum. How did that happen? How did an insane orange dumpster fire get to be president? Well, when I think about it, I figured it out. It's because he's getting all that free coverage all the time, 24/7. It's relentless. Every single network, all the time talking about Trump, 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 over and over and over. You know, he just got elected by the media. Because apparently 75 million people want to believe in bullshit. They think if we just believe hard enough, we'll make this madness real. Repeal the 13th Amendment and reinstall slavery. What? Disenfranchise the vote if people aren't white enough. What does that even mean? What kind of madness and insanity is that? I don't get that at all. It doesn't make sense to me. Why? I kind of learned why after I lived here in hillbilly country for some years now, since 2002. These people are intrinsically lazy, deliberately. It's like a mark of a badge of honor for them. I'm poor. I don't have any money to do. You mean to tell me you haven't had enough money in the last 20 years to buy a gallon of paint once a year and put some fresh paint on the outside of your house to protect it? You couldn't do that? Are you serious? You just don't care. You just let a place fall apart. You don't care. You don't want to invest a dime in anything. Why do you live in a broken down shack of a house and drive a $50,000 Ford F-150 pickup. And all you do is just drive from here to there and back again. Why? Why? To what end? Wouldn't you, truck's not going to last forever, but your house can last a long time. Take care of it. Keep the roof repaired, all that good stuff. Don't let it leak. I don't understand that logic behind that thinking. I don't get it. How is what you drive more important than your house? Why do you even care? A car is a car is a car. A truck is a truck. That's all. It's not like one model can fly and the other one can't. To me, it's like, hey, if it runs and it's paid for, that's a good car. If it's a reliable runner and it's paid for, you got it right there. Thumbs up on that, man. Why would you want another one if the one you have works? Because the new one's just going to do the same thing. It's going to have an engine. It's going to have wheels, brakes, hopefully, so on and so forth. It's essentially the same thing. Why bother? How does it make you feel better about yourself to have a new car? That you have to have it, rather than spending money on something that lasts, that's a value, like your education, your home, your savings, that type of thing. When I think back on the years, I only had one new car in my life in '78, and that was only for about 3 months before they took it back. Not even that long, more like 2 months, because the financing didn't go through on it for whatever reason, even after 2 months. And they wanted the car back, and I gave it back to them. Unfortunately, the Olds I traded in was already gone. So I just got another cheap car. My idea of a good car is something between $500 and $1,200 cash that runs good. Never mind how pretty it is or is not, or how much wear and tear it's got on it. It doesn't run good. That's all that matters. They got a really nice bus service where I live. They come right to your house and pick you up and bring you back. You might need to go to the store for 20 minutes, but you got to wait for another hour or hour and a half or whatever it is for them to come back and pick you up at the store and bring you home. But they do take you home, right to your house. The drawback is I can't ride them. The pain on my foot and my leg, I can't even get up the stairwell or down again. Up would be extremely difficult, and down would be impossible. There'd have to be somebody else holding on to me down to the bottom of the stairwell so I don't tilt forward. If I do, I'm going to take a tumble, and it's going to hurt. And that was a good deal, a bus. $15 a month for a bus pass, and you can ride anywhere they go. That's a good deal. Even my scooter's not that cheap. 93 octane super unleaded, a gallon is not cheap. I'll go get a part fill up at my favorite station I like to go to, and that's still like $1.75, $2.24, $2.56, $2.79, stuff like that. Because I never let it run way down. I get like half a tank and I fill back up again. Because I go across the Ohio River and go shopping over there because there's no grocery store really where I live. So I go over there and get groceries and stuff. And then that little Honda will haul a ton of groceries. And I've never lost anything in 6 years. I bring them ice cream June, July, and August when it's hotter than hell here. And I get home and it's still frozen good. It's not partially melted or anything. I wrap it up in a towel inside a duffel bag that I carry over my shoulder on a strap. No problem. So I keep all the frozen stuff together. Entrees and things like that. Stouffer's, Marie Callender's, all of those brands. Banquet, I don't care for Banquet. They're just not very good. I mean, they're not bad, but they're just not good. Man, I'll tell you, this is just taking a long time. This is 52 minutes now. About 50, call it 55 before I got the camera working. I've got every door shut. I've got towels underneath all the internal doors. The external door is tight as a tick when you shut that. Nothing's going out through that unless a teeny, teeny, weeny little bug that gets into a door jamb somewhere. But I have door to my bedroom is shut, door to the bathroom is shut, main hallway door, which it has a door. You can pull it shut so you can isolate the kitchen from the rest of the house if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to, but you could. Pretty cool. When I think about it, this house has more windows and doors for its size than anything I've ever seen in any house I've ever been in, ever. Never seen this many windows and doors. They're all over the place. It's nice. So wherever you're at, you can shut the door and have some privacy. The back of my house is like a whole different house that was tacked on to this one, the original house, which in reality it was butted into this house because the back half of the house is all concrete block with a cement floor. Because many years ago, the woman that lived in here, a woman that was part of her family, had polio, and she was in a wheelchair. So there was a very small bathroom in the back many, many decades ago, like 50, 60, 70 years ago. Maybe longer for all I know. House has been around a long time. When I think about it, I've been around a long time. I'll be 69 in April. And where all that time went, I don't know. All of my dreams and ambitions and what I wanted to do with my life came to nothing. Mainly because I failed to act on it. If you want to do something and you don't, you want to be a great actor, guess what? You go to where they do all the acting, say Hollywood or wherever. I don't know. It used to be Hollywood. I'm assuming it still is. And you show up for everything. Everything. Doesn't matter what it is. Do it. Sooner or later, you get a job. You may not be a leading man or a leading lady or anything like that. You may not be the major star, but you'll get work. Commercials, whatever. But because you kept at it. Because everywhere you go, people, oh yeah, that guy, she's at every audition. We know he'll show up. Or she will show up. Because she shows up for everything. And he shows up for everything. I don't care what it is. He'll do it. And he'll give it his best shot. That's the other thing. Always give it your best. Whatever you're doing, give it your best. It doesn't matter if no one but you knows it. Do your best. You take a little short, squat guy with a receding hairline like Edward G. Robinson with an odd voice. Guy kind of looks like a human Mr. Frog. Didn't make any difference. He turned into a star because he believed in himself and he believed in acting. Because that's not me up on the screen. That's a character I'm playing, a role I'm playing. And when I play it, I give it 1,000%. I don't care if it's a little role, a big role, a medium role, a barely see me role. I'm going to put everything in it that I have for that. If I've got one line of dialogue, I'm going to do it as well as I can in character. I'm not going to piss on it because it's not a major role. Everybody started somewhere. People forget that. Not everyone was a star from get-go. Didn't happen that way. Never does. It's rare. Extremely rare. You want to be an engineer? Then learn it. Study those books. Not just in the classroom, study them at home until you know that topic front to back, in and out. You'll get a job and then work your way up. You may never be a star engineer. You may never be another building designer or draftsman or architect, anything like that. But you make a good living, and nobody will ever be able to criticize your work. You did quality work, quality engineering, because you hold yourself to the highest standard, not other people. You. Beatles started out; they couldn't even win a single contest, a talent contest, anywhere ever. They never won. They actually lost to a woman playing spoons because she was popular in the area, so they lost it. And they didn't turn into what they became overnight. No. They worked at it for years. John, Paul, and George worked together since 1957. Play and play and play and play and play and play to get better. And they did. You do something enough, long enough, you're going to get good at it. Sometimes damn good. And then you take somebody like them, and it's like, no, we don't like that sound. We don't want to sound like them. We want to sound like us. We want to do rock and roll our way. We want to do a pop song the way we want to hear it. If it sells, it sells, and if it doesn't, whatever. When we play in the clubs, the kids like us, and that's what matters. They like what we play. And screw everything else. Do they like it? We like it, and they like it. If they like it, you're in business. They got lucky and got somebody that Brian Epstein that plugged away over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and finally started getting somewhere with it because he knew they were going to be stars one way or another. He knew it. It's pretty, just same topic again, same people, the Fabs, but it's a good example. Very good example. They didn't start off famous. They didn't start off anything. It's like they themselves said, hey, we were always pretty good, and we got better as time passed, and better as songwriters and as performers, as players, instruments, and so forth. But if it hadn't been for Brian Epstein, we would have been the biggest band in England nobody ever heard of. That's the truth of it. Because unless you get signed to a record deal and they promote your record, you're not going anywhere. Especially not in the England of those days. You couldn't even get on BBC unless you had a hit. You already had to have a hit before they put you on it. They wouldn't allow you on the stage. You had to have a hit. I gotta readjust myself here. Even this chair's killing me. I gotta sit in my big plushy chair. Very comfortable. Should be. I'm paying a lot for it. The time it's paid for, which obviously I'm not going to finish paying for it. I guess they'll come and get it at some point. I highly recommend it. I'm paying with the insurance and the guarantee on maintenance and all that. Comes out to about $83 a month instead of the high 60s like I was originally quoted. You know how that goes. Once you've been around for 2 years, you know the score on that. There's always add-ons, but it's worth it because it's comfortable. I've been able to sleep in it if I've got pillows puffed up on one side, like 3 or 4 of them, so I can lean over to one side, not too far, and take the pressure off my right leg and put on the left side and sleep. After I've had enough pills and booze. I'm surprised I don't have gastric upset from all the aspirin I take. I take a lot of aspirin. I have to. Otherwise, I can't take the pain. It doesn't make it go away. It doesn't work that well, but it does tamp it down a little. That's all I have to work with. Once been an hour and almost 2 minutes, hour and 2 minutes, and I don't seem to be feeling much of anything. I don't feel sleepy at all. I guess it's one of those deals where it hits you all at once and your head just goes point and down you go. One of those things. Or maybe this is not enough concentration to do it. I hope it is. You have to give me an A for effort. I got a pretty much airtight house. I got all the doors blocked. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. The kitchen door I don't worry about because that's airtight, very tight. Nothing goes through that. You know, it's got the rubber seals and everything all around it, that latex. Nothing goes through that. Very, very nice, very well constructed door. And it fits really tight. You want to pull it shut, sometimes you got to use both hands. That's how tight it is to close it all the way, which is indicative of a poor fit if you look at it from one way. But from another angle, for me, it's fine. That's good. It's tight. I can always shave it down or something if I have to. Well, obviously not after today, but I never needed to. When you get in a place this old with bones on it, and oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I got an all new roof too. And I don't mean just shingles. I mean from the trusses up, all new. Whatever needed new wood, it got. If the original was all right, subframe on it, the original trusses and braces, they're fine. Fine, leave them alone. If they're okay, they're okay. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think the budget was like $43,000. I got all new electric, all of it. You know, 220-amp service into the house. That's pretty cool. The circuit breakers instead of the old-fashioned fuses like I had previously. I can run appliances, and each appliance has its own socket. No sharing. That's pretty cool. For the washer and the dryer. I used to have a stand-up freezer from Sears and another refrigerator alongside the other. So I had 2 refrigerators and a freezer. But for just me, I didn't need those, so I sold them and just kept the one big fridge, which serves me well enough. I could always get another one. Obviously not now, but I could always get another one and had it brought over from Sears or somewhere. I used to gamble a hell of a lot. Oh man, you talk about being an addict. I was addicted to slots. Not just any slots. No, at the specific game, which is double, double, triple bonus. 4 aces, 4 deuces, 4 threes, 4 fours with a kicker, which would be like 4 aces with a deuce or 4 deuces with a 4, 4 threes with an ace, like that in any given combination. As long as it has a kicker, a quarter pays $100. So for $1 wager, I could easily make $400, which I did with amazing frequency. Because if I had aces and kings, I'd let the kings go and keep the aces. Or 2 deuces and something, a pair of tens, I'd let a pair of tens go, keep the deuces. Which works better than you would think in terms of odds. Well, the lighting's kind of harsh, so I don't look all that good. I don't think I look that bad. When I look in the mirror and it's like, I got a mirror across from the shower bathtub, and I'll pull the curtain back and I'll look at the mirror across from me above the sink, and it's like, I look like And for a moment or two, I think it's the old woman in the bathtub from The Shining, the one with Jack Nicholson. Yeah, it's like, how the hell did that old wreck get in here? Oh, it's me. Yeah, you know, because you never think you look as bad as you really look until you see a picture of yourself and you don't recognize who that is. And then you look again and it's like, holy shit, is that me? Do I really look like that? Or you hear your voice recorded on a high quality machine and play back and it's like, who's that? You don't even recognize your own voice. Isn't that odd? You'd think you'd know. No, no. I just wish I could have spent these years with the woman I love. I think we would have been good for each other, for her and for her boy when he was younger. Because two incomes is always better than one, and everything that I make is hers and his. I'm hopeful that I get an allowance, that she'd be in charge of the money, because you can't trust me with it. I want to go out and buy guy stuff, or play slots, or just anything to waste some money. Because with money, the less of it you have, the more you tend to waste it. Because you get used to the idea, well, I'm never even going to make it to middle class. I'm never going to have that kind of money. Money goes out as fast as I get it in. Most people in this country don't have $500 in the bank at any given point in reserve. They don't even, that'd be the absolute most that they have, maybe 500 or 600. That's it. Now, since the running lights, which would be the tail light and headlight, are operational when the ignition circuit's on, when it runs out of fuel, it's going to stop, but the ignition is still going to be turned on, which makes me wonder if they're still going to be on. Probably. I don't think the headlight comes on unless the engine itself is running. But just having the ignition circuit on is going to drain the battery. And it's a pretty good little 12-volt AGM battery. Very powerful, very reliable. I've had it about 3 or 4 years in there. Time for a new one. But I left a note under the saddle to buy a new battery for it. You get them at Walmart for like, I don't know, between 80 and 100 for the AGM battery. I was going to get one of the lithium batteries, which was another $30 or $40, like $120, $130, something like that, maybe a little more. But they don't like cold weather, the lithium batteries. So that kind of put me off a little bit. My scooter's always in the house, so I don't really worry about weather much. Oh, I know something I forgot. There's a vent underneath the pot and pan rack. I set the thermostat way down so it wouldn't kick on. I'm going to go cover that vent. Aha! I forgot one. Maybe that's the problem. It could be going into that vent and escaping into the piping under the house. Okay, I'm back. Let me scooch around the table here so I can sit down. I have to do it carefully now. So I have to watch how I put my foot down. Otherwise, I'll hit it on something. And that was more pain right there. A lot of pain. Get up and walk maybe 8-10 feet over there and put another towel down under that vent. I forgot that vent. That could be what's not working right. I didn't cover that vent. It's underneath the pot and pan rack. I got some racks in the kitchen that I like to put pots and pans on. It just makes them easier to get at instead of stacking all that weight up on a kitchen cabinet and then fighting your way through all the stuff to get the one out you want. I'm starting to feel close. Like the way you feel when the humidity goes up suddenly, like that. Hard to tell because I've been running low-grade fevers for months now. I'll wake up and I'll just be coated in sweat, and I think it's just the pain doing it. It could be metabolic too, combined with it. Because the truth is, I could have a stroke at any time with no warning, none. I could have the pulmonary embolism, no warning at all. If a clot breaks loose and gets in my lung, that's it. If it doesn't kill you right away, it will eventually. Because your lungs are going to, one of your lungs, one of the lobes, because technically speaking, you don't have just two lungs. They're divided into fields. If I remember right, three lobes on the left and two on the right. So if one lung gets infected, one lung field, it slows the propagation of bacteria down from one to the next. One of the lobes is what they're generally called, a lobe. Yeah, I remember years back, I was reading that when that cowboy actor John Wayne, who I could not stand as a person, and was not much of an actor because he only played the same person over and over again. I put him in a different scene with different clothes on, and it's still the same person. He got carved up like a Christmas turkey from cancer, and he got by on half a lung for over 20 years. Half of a lobe of a lung. That's a very small amount of lung field, but you can get by on very little when you have to. People in England and London especially lived with they used to burn what they called nutty slack, which is a very, very low form of peat almost, like a surface layer. And they use that to heat their place with. They'd throw all that carbon right up in the air, all those molecules of it. You breathe it in, the superfine black particles. Now their lungs would be coated with that shit, and they still got by. Might have had short lifespans. I mean, you're basically fried by the time you're 50. You're done. I've been smoking for over 50 years, and I'm still here. And I can still breathe quite well. No asthma, none of that. You'd think I'd be coughing and gasping right now. Nope, it's normal breathing. Of course, this carbon monoxide does not make you do that. It supplants oxygen in your cells. in the erythrocytes, the red blood cells. So instead of carrying more and more oxygen, they keep carrying more and more carbon monoxide because they can't tell the difference. That's why it's an insidious poison gas. You don't know you're breathing it. It's like when I mentioned earlier about a lot of those cities where they find a whole family dead and dead, all of them peaceful. They had no awareness of what was going on. They didn't know. There was no warning signs. They didn't wake up struggling to breathe or any of that. They just went to sleep, and then they went into a coma, and then they died because their brain and heart shut down from lack of oxygen. You don't feel any pain. There's no struggling. That's what I like about that idea. A 38 would be better. Instant. Don't use a small caliber handgun. Don't use a 25. And do one of these numbers. I've taken care of people that have survived that, and it's not a pretty picture. Your mind doesn't work well at all after that. It affects your motor controls for walking, gait, speech, everything. You don't want that. Right now my leg hurts so bad. I got two pillows on this table chair, the dining room table, and it's just not working. I can't lay down. That hurts way too much. I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's coming up on an hour 19, and I'm not really feeling much of anything. I seem to be feeling rather warmish. But other than that, maybe that's one of the first indicators. Your metabolism starts going off kilter because you're just not getting enough oxygen yet. You breathe in 21% and exhale about 16%, somewhere in that figure. You need to buy very little of that if you have to, as long as you're getting some. Like you see somebody being transported in an ambulance, which I used to be an EMT and I was damn good at it, and I should have stayed with it, and I didn't because I was pissed off over the absurdly low pay scales at that time in the 1980s. And you see people, oh yeah, 100% oxygen. You never give anybody 100% oxygen. No. In some instances where you have blood poisoning from carbon monoxide or something of a similar, an irritating gas, something like that, yeah, for short periods, you can give them 100%. You can't give anybody 100% oxygen all the time. No. By a mask, where you're just getting 100% O2. For one thing, after about 5 minutes, you'd be blind the rest of your life. It'd burn your eyes out from 100% pure oxygen. Your brain cells would go berserk, getting to being supercharged with 100% oxygen and burn them up. It'll burn out your eyes. It'll burn out your ears too. The soft tissue inside, the tiny bones, let's see, malleolus, incus, and stapes. They're still there, but they don't work very well because the tissue that's connecting the cartilage got weak over that oxygen. It would just burn you right up. The same reason you don't put a supercharger on a lawnmower. Putting a Harley engine on a moped is not going to work. It just won't. It'll tear the rest of it to pieces. It's too much for it. Well, I'm starting to feel a little something now, but I'm not sure what I'm feeling. And it's been an hour, 22 minutes, pretty close. I'm feeling a little something, like I'm a little bit logy, like I had too much to drink. I've had more booze in the last 2 months than I did in the previous 68 years. I just never really had that much interest in it. I mean, I have nothing against it. I'll drink if the drink is offered, if it's something I can tolerate. You know, I don't know about a grasshopper or anything like that. I just never developed a taste for booze or drugs of any kind. Weed or any of that. It was just never interested in me. It didn't do much to me. I tried weed a couple of times and I felt like I was getting a case of the slow motion Charlies. Yeah, that's all. And I was aware of it, very aware. My body's not reacting as fast as my mind is telling it to react. That's all I noticed. If there was any big high to be enjoyed, I never got it. Maybe I didn't do enough. That could have been it. You know, somebody I knew my age smoked weed. I knew that even the girl that I loved, she'd have a little weed on a weekend or something, you know, just a little puff to relax with, and she earned it. Worked as a line cook at a busy casino for many years, at least 15 years that I know of, almost all of her adult life. And most people have done that don't last very long, a year or two, and they're burned out. Your legs give out, your back gives out because of the nature of the work of standing up to a counter all the time. You don't see any 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" cooks working a line. Can't do it. The back gives out, the feet give out, their knees give out. It's just too tough. You know, so she's entitled to have a little bit. I remember one time she got scared. This guy, John Short, had a fender bender in a parking lot, and being automatically employee meant he had to take a random drug test for any sort of an accident on the property. It was automatic, like he fell downstairs or anything like that. Automatic drug test. I didn't take it, and she came the next day, my girl, with her hair kind of bleached out. And I told her, I said, that won't work. They'll take out several plugs to get the whole hair in the root and check it, because it'll be in the root for cannabis. And they'll pick that up. Both humorous and frank, just possession of a few seeds was a felony. Not even a whole joint, just seeds. And now it's legal. We'll figure that one out. Can you imagine that, getting convicted of a major felony for having a joint slipped into your ear that you forgot, or one in your pocket, over a few miscellaneous buds and stems? Can you imagine that? If somebody going through your pocket and emptying it out to get every little bit that they can find so they can charge you with possession. Unbelievable. Why would anybody want to lock anybody up for that? That's what I don't get. Who makes these weird laws? They want to punish everybody for everything. I don't get it. That's a pretty stiff punishment. A felony prison sentence? That doesn't make any sense. How does that fix anything? How does punishing somebody ever fix anything? It doesn't. Prison, to me, putting people in prison is a waste of time. Except for severe circumstances where somebody's a psychopath and they kill people at random because they felt like it, because the voices in their head tell them to. Yeah, keep them locked up always. I don't care how long they found Jesus in prison. They get out. You could get somebody like one of the Manson girls she could come out and say, well, I had to kill the baby because Jesus told me to because it had devil eyes. And be pretty lucid explaining why she had to do that. Now, you can't let people like that out ever. But the average person, like writing bad checks and shoplifting, I don't know, minor infractions of the law like that, they shouldn't even be in jail because it doesn't serve any purpose. And that's what happens when you let a bureaucracy get drunk with power. The police stopping somebody for failure to signal at a stop sign, and it escalates into a shooting. You know, if they hadn't stopped them, it wouldn't have happened. Man, does my foot hurt. I just can't get comfortable. I can't sit for very long. I can't stand up for it at all, and I can barely walk. And every day it gets worse with barely being able to walk. And if I'm in a wheelchair, guess what? My foot's still going to hurt. Oh, oh man, it's so sore. I feel like I'm sitting sideways all the time, like I'm on a lateral slant like this. I know I'm not, but it feels like it because of the pain on the right side. I'm starting to get a little bit of breathiness. I want to have a little bit, just a touch. Don't really notice it yet. Weird. Like everything is weird. Not for me now. Yeah, I never could understand that locking people up. I don't get it. And then having a felony conviction on them for the rest of their lives. And even after they're dead, it's still there. You can still look it up. It's on a computer forever. Why? I don't get that. How did that fix anything? Sure, you punish somebody for a crime. And then what? What's the outcome? Well, now you got a felony conviction. You're locked out of a hell of a lot of employment. You got a lot of restrictions on the rest of your life of what you can do and what you can't do. You can run for Congress or the Senate with a felony conviction, but you can't get a job that requires a bond where you're going to be handling money. Can't do it. Well, now I'm getting warmish, but I think it's the exhaust that's heating up in here. Boy, I think this is going on. And she is running. I think somewhere around maybe 1,000 RPM, 800 to 1,000. Add that up. I'm too lazy to add it up. How many cut-puts over how many seconds? Too lazy. I'm more concerned with the pain that I'm having than that. But my mind is always curious about everything all the time, even now. I'm starting to have the opinion this is not working. And I don't know why it should. It should work. But it doesn't seem like it is. And that can't be right. It's gotta be leaking somewhere. Or the concentration is just taking forever for it to build up. Because usually you don't last this long in a car if you get the hose running in, you're not gonna last this long. Not an hour and a half. You're talking about maybe 500 cubic feet of air inside a car. Now, it doesn't take long to saturate that. And this room I'm in, I got a big shotgun kitchen runs lengthwise across the house. crosswise, crosswise, shotgun kitchen. I'm sorry. Nice big kitchen too. Oh yeah. You should have seen this dump before it got worked on. Oh man. But it was cheap. It was $17,000 in 2000. And one of the lawyers for Chicago Title and Trust said in 2004, cash me out for the rest of the balance so we don't have to carry this on our books, because it's really not worth it. It's not worth the bookkeeping for this amount. I think we owed like, my mother and I owed like $5,000 or $6,000 on it. I helped her pay. My older sister helped her pay for it. I think my younger sister kicked in as a sum into the kitty. Whatever money my mother could come up with, and property she owned in New Mexico, just whatever she could to get her hands on some cash to make the down payment on it, and then make payments on it until 2004. And I came out here in April of 2002 to help her, which was a huge mistake on my part because I was only supposed to be here like a month, maybe two, and that turned into a year, and now I've been here 23 years now, or 2002. Hey, maybe that's a sign it's starting to work. I'm having a hard time making internal calculations. Now, you might say from one perspective, well, why be so drama queen dramatic over this? Why go off the deep end? Well, campers and sports fans, I'm already at the deep end. Everything just keeps getting worse for me. My foot keeps getting worse, not better. The pain that used to be in just my foot is now in the calf of my leg, and now it's gone from the foot and the calf up into the femur, up into my thigh. That's the problem. I got to hobble around with this. And obviously the next step from that is a wheelchair. What if I can't get out of a wheelchair to get on the toilet by myself? Now what? I got to go in a nursing home. And I'm not having that. I'm just not. There's certain things you'll put up with and other things you won't. And this is one of the things I won't put up with. I'm not going to live year after year as a cripple in a nursing home or trapped in my own house for the rest of my life. You know, I give my neighbors money to shop for me when they have time. They're old too. So I'm only going to get so much. Look at this hand. It's doing that all by itself. No help from me at all. Isn't that weird? That just started up in the last few months. I think because of the foot. And I thought I had a bunch of scratches on my hand. Well, I must have scraped it on the cardboard when I was getting some Pepsi out to open the crate, open the box up, right? That's what I thought it was. No, I took a closer look at it, and it was veins that broke open under the skin, and some of it reached the surface. And I thought I had a blood smear, and I kept wiping it. It wouldn't come off because it was in the skin itself, like a tattoo. It's gone now for the most part. A little bit of scratch right in here, what looks like a scratch, but it's not a scratch. And oddly enough, it's on my left side, not on the right side, because a lot of your circulatory system goes back and forth, just like your brain does. Switches over, goes around in a spiral. It's not all shunted down one way and then shunted up the other way. No. It goes up and down evenly. And in my case, it's not doing it evenly. That would explain why I had the problems on my left hand instead of my right. Yeah. I still remember most of my anatomy and geology. I was very good at it. I got 4.0 grades in college. And if there were higher grade, I would have gone for it. Which is funny because I got a lot of D's and F's in elementary school and junior high. No good grades at all. High school, all A's. But I went to adult education at night. So that explains that, because I had got kicked out in 10th grade from regular high school for fighting with a phys ed coach. Because he sicked one of his private pet football boys on me, who gave me an elbow, came running at me full tilt with an elbow. You know, you could cripple or kill somebody hitting them from behind with an elbow like that. And this guy was just this huge Pollock, man. I mean, he had to shave twice a day, and he couldn't have been but 15, 16 years old, 220, 230 pounds, and slammed into me like that. And I know it's the coach who told him to do it, to get back at me for lipping off to him. Because I basically told him to go F himself. And I think at one point I did say that. Just go fuck yourself. Leave me alone. You can't expect me to run intramurals around this high school. It's 111 degrees out. And me, a fat kid. You can't expect that. I'm carrying too much weight, man. I can't do it. Maybe I could do it if my ass was on fire, or there was a cloud of murder hornets after me. But otherwise, no. You know something? I think this is not working. I'm an hour and 30 minutes into here, and I'm not even getting nodding or anything like that yet. I guess when it hits, it's very gradual, and you don't notice it, awake or asleep, especially asleep. And you're all nice and cozy. Dad covered up with blankets because you got one of those little barbecue wagons with some charcoal briquettes burning in it down and heating the house up with it. Yeah, you don't notice what else it's doing. It's pretty insidious. You can't smell it, you can't see it, you can't taste it. None of your senses are giving off alarm bells. I wish things had not come to this point because I'm not ready to go yet. Not really. But I just don't see it. If I could see any viable option at all, I'd forget it and keep going for it. But I just don't see it. I thought and I thought, what can I do? I've done everything I can do myself because I can't get any medical treatment. My eyes are starting to get a little irritated, but I think that's from the exhaust. That's just the fumes. That can't be helped. That's the same thing you get if you stick your face in a tailpipe and the car's running. Yeah, it's not very pleasant at all. Could say, well, just turn on the stove, let the house fill up with gas. Not a good idea. The tiniest little spark from any relay or switch, the phone rings, the thermostat clicks, anything that creates even the tiniest spark can blow your house up. Not to mention damage whatever's alongside you. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. It would be faster, yeah, but it's stupid. And I think you'd be coughing and gasping for air while you're trying to do it. I don't want to do that. Body's liable to take over and save me, whether I want it to or not. What the parts of me are still alive. My brain doesn't want to die, ever. It's like you put somebody in one of those sensory deprivation tanks. If you put them in there too long, they go start raving berserk or become comatose. Because the mind doesn't like being shut off. from its own environment. The, the external environment that it's plus. Because your mind works all the time. Awake or asleep makes no difference. It still works. Everything back here is still working. Up here, not much. But back here, the motor controls, everything's working fine. It's protecting you together. Because 6 dogs in a pile is 6 times more power than 1 dog or 1 cat against a potential enemy, so they can all sleep, plus generate heat for each other. Good deal. Cats can't regulate their metabolism all that well because they have so much dark muscle mass. It gives them blinding speed when they need it, but then they have to recuperate. Cats can't run at high speed for very long at all. Their blood will fill up with toxins very fast. Dogs can run around at a pretty good clip all day if they have to, like wolves. They want to get a deer, they separate from a herd, they'll just run it to death in relays. Run it fast and fast and fast and not let it rest, and sooner or later it's going to fall over from exhaustion, and then they'll move in and kill it. Very effective strategy. You don't want one of those hooves kicking out, hit you in the ribs and crack one, or break your face kicking you with a hook. They can easily do that. They're very powerful. They don't look it, but they're very strong. Deer. An adult male can easily, if you got close enough to them, I can't imagine how you would, but if you got close enough to the rear leg and you get out, that hook would go right through your skull. It, for sure. This reminds me of the old Tom Petty lyrics. The waiting is the hardest part. And man, am I tired of waiting. I could lay down on the kitchen floor, but it's not really comfortable for me at all. The pain in my foot rises dramatically doing that. I don't know why. You'd think it would lessen it. No, sitting is better than laying down. I haven't been able to sleep in my bed for a long time, and I've got one of those adjustable electric beds. You know, you can make the top and bottom go anywhere you want it to, any angle you like. I could not get comfortable. Just that big puffy chair I've got in the living room parked in front of the TV so I can watch movies. I can't read all that well anymore. The pain is too distracting. I can follow along with the movie. It's easier because you got both a visual and an oral stimulus going on at the same time. It's not like I'm watching a silent movie from the 1920s. God, my foot hurts. That's another thing. People say, aren't you afraid of going to hell? Sure, if there is one, which I doubt. You're going to put me in the same hell with Hitler? I deserve the same treatment? I don't think so. That doesn't seem very equitable at all. Everybody gets equal punishment? No, I don't think so. In fact, I don't think you get any punishment at all. You just die. You're gone. I don't think there is any afterlife. Can you imagine existing forever? Like a vampire? I think eventually they just go insane and strip down and wait until high noon in the desert where there's no cover, and then just go out and let the sun burn them to death. Just turn to ashes. Instead of having to endure going on and on, decade after decade, and then century after century, just to stay alive in a certain sense. I'm starting to get a little bit of burn right here. It's not deep. It's like I got a sore throat now. Maybe it's working. We're coming up on an hour, 48 minutes. I'm still here, still talking to you. As if anybody will actually see this, I doubt it. But they might. This is live stream because I can't figure out how to make a video. I never bothered with it. Never did that. I know anything that I wanted to share with other people that much. Share what with them? My life? Couldn't the hell possibly be interested? Even I'm not interested by my own life. Never mind anybody else. I can't imagine being that bored. I'm starting to get warm. I think it's exhaust making it warm instead of me myself getting warm. And starting to feel a little more burn. We're coming up on 2 hours and I'm still here. I don't get it. This is supposed to be done. Something's going wrong. God, my foot. My poor foot. I don't like this black spot on my big toe on the outside aspect of it. That'd be toward the midline if you were standing up on the lateral aspect, the outside portion. I don't know if that's an exploded vein that's dying